What's up guys, and welcome back to a brand new episode of my F1 2017 career mode, and we are here for round number 13 for the Italian Grand Prix. And first things first, if you did miss the last one at Spa, then I would honestly recommend you to go watch that episode, because something historic happened in that episode, and it was very, very good, and I do urge you to go check it out. No spoilers, but you'll need it for context for this episode, and who knows, I'm looking forward to this one, because hopefully we can get a similar result in today's episode. But as you can see, currently now we are here in Monza, and similar to Spa, a track that is more suited to our car than more of the normal tracks that we normally race on, and I've got to take full advantage of this and try and maximise the opportunity that we have. And straight away in Friday practice, you can see on screen right now, we scored a purple in absolutely everything. Flawless practice session for the first time in a while, and was using the old power unit actually, so we managed to pull that one out of the bag. And then we're actually going back to power unit 4, which we actually debuted in the last race in Spa, and we're going to be opening that one and using that one again for this one here in Italy, as it obviously is a power circuit, so we want to try and use the newer engine. But I think engine-wise we should be okay now to get to the end of the season on what we currently have. I may have to use like a 7th unit, but it might be one of them ones where I use a 7th unit for like the last race in Abu Dhabi, because, you know, just to have a little bit of fun. But I think we should be okay to get to the end of the season now, what we've got in terms of engines. So hopefully no more penalties should be applied. So that's looking pretty good in that regard. Also, we've got a new gearbox going into this race, so the car is going to be in tip-top shape for qualifying. And straight away in Q1, as you saw on screen right now, we comfortably got through on the super soft compound tyres. And then into Q2, we opted for the slower soft compound yellow marked rubber, and trying to set a lap and trying to get through to Q3 on this tyre. And so far we're off to a great start, only a 10th down on Valtteri Bottas through the middle sector in the works Mercedes. And we now go through the parabolic through the final corner in my one and only run in Q2. We're going to run it up to the line. Have we done enough? Yes, we have. P1, so we go fastest momentarily, though eventually we would drop down the order a little bit and we would go through in P5. Felipe Massa unfortunately just missing out there in P11 as my teammate. But very good, encouraging qualifying session so far. Car feels really, really good, and I like my chances. So hopefully we can have a good result here, and we're going to jump straight into Q3 for my best lap in the session. And here we go then. First of all, into turn 1, you want to brake just before the 100-meter board, in between the 150 and the 100, hitting 350 Ks, which was something you don't really see that often in career mode. And then we get some really good traction out of turn 2, which is absolutely critical. And then flat out obviously through turn 3 here at Curva Grande. And now braking basically very hard at the 100-meter board for turns 4 and 5 for the chicane here. Use the curb, really attack it. I take a little bit of a corner cut, to be fair. My apologies, somehow the strict corner cutting didn't punish me for it, but we're going to continue on our ways. We're now going to Lesmo 1, really trying to use all the track available here, and then same again for Lesmo 2, down a couple of gears, and use all the curbing on the left-hand side to really get the car flowing through there. And so far it's been a perfect lap, and we was fastest in the first sector. And the question is, in the second sector split, what is the time? And we are faster still. So here we go into the Scro chicane, really throwing the car in here and getting the power down really early, trusting the back end of my car and my tyres to do the work for me. And we've had a fantastic lap so far. It's been absolutely perfect. We've got one more corner to go at the Parabolica. Bang on the 50-meter board, down to 5th gear, and then a little short shift to 6 if you like, to really get the power down onto the AstroTurf on the left-hand side, using all of the track available, pulling the car to the right-hand side as we run it up to the line. And we go fastest in Q3 with a couple of minutes left to go. So that is a fantastic lap, and it was actually going to be enough for us to bag our first ever pole position as a Williams driver. Just a really, really good lap there. Really happy with that one. It was absolutely flawless, no issues, and I didn't go out again because I just simply could not improve on it. I wasn't going to, so I didn't bother. The only man really to, you know, quite comfortably chip into the 1 minute 19s, and really, really good lap. I knew if I got into the 1 minute 19s, I'd be competing for pole, and that's exactly what happened. And we've bagged ourselves our first pole position since last season, so that's very good for tomorrow's race. We've got Vettel behind us, Lewis Hamilton and Raikkonen all not too far behind them. But hopefully we can have a good race tomorrow. So that's the story of Saturday qualifying. And we're now going to move into Sunday for the race. Okay, so here we are then on the grid for the Italian Grand Prix. First place and our first ever pole position for Williams in this career mode. And I've taken our first ever race win with Williams in the last race. We've now got our first pole, so we're looking very good at the moment. And these two tracks that really suit our car, we're definitely making the most of them to try and get as many points as possible. As obviously now we're going to go into Singapore, which is a track that isn't particularly great for our car. So we've got to make the most of these races. And hopefully we can have a good one here today. Like I said, first place, we do have the benefit of tyre strategy, starting on the soft compound tyres. I do have Sebastian Vettel to my right, and Kimi Räikkönen is directly behind me, also on soft compound tyres. So really today we're racing Kimi Räikkönen, who's going to be on the same tyre as me. So hopefully we can have a good race, and I expect Vettel to be faster than me in the first part with the super softs. But hopefully in the long run, though, on the one-stop strategy, I can overhaul him. But obviously, speaking of strategy, if we look at the strategy now for today's race, you can see that we have a one-stop scheduled onto the medium tyres around lap 11, and also have overfueled by about 1 lap. We've got dry conditions expected throughout the entirety of the race, no rain whatsoever, so I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully we can have a good race. So, without further ado, let's jump straight into it now and see if we can convert this pole position into our second race win of the season. Right, here we go. We're going to get ready for the 5 red lights for the Italian Grand Prix, and it's lights out. On away we go. Important that we get a good start, and I have had a great start, really good start on these soft compound tyres. To be fair, no one's actually overtaken me, so we've got the chance to hug the inside line and take the better racing line into turn 1. I got the Ferrari of Sebastian Vettel there, so I've got to leave him some room, but we're just going to pick up the traction and make the overtake. Esteban Ocon now all over the back of me in that Pink Panther. But it looks like we are going to just about hold on now if we can just defend into this next break zone. Ocon could also be one to watch out for here today, because he can match me for straight line speed in that full senior, which is definitely not slow by any means in a straight line. So let's try and settle into this race a little bit, and hopefully we can have some good pace in these tyres. But this middle sector as well, I think I'm going to be struggling early on here. It's just critical that I get a good exit out of this corner here, the second Lesmo, so I've got good straight line speed down this back straight into the Ascari chicane, and that way I can defend my first place. Ocon is definitely catching me, but he's not super fast in a straight line. That straight line speed is very good, so let's try and get a concentration face on and try and open up a gap to the cars behind, or at least stretch out the pack a little bit. Okay, on to lap number 3. Ocon is pretty close this time, and he's the fastest man on the circuit. He's going to go to my inside, but I've got the straight line speed here to just stay in front of him, because there is no DRS enabled for him just yet. So we managed to stay in front. I do get a little bit hot on the brakes there into the first chicane, but we've made the move and stayed ahead of Ocon for now. Räikkönen currently battling away with his teammate, and Ocon's going to try and go for the outside this time into turn 3 for Curva Grande. But once again, you'll see that because he ain't got no slipstream, I'm going to keep my nose in front and stay ahead. So it just goes to show that if these guys have a slipstream, they're going to keep up with me just about. But the second I break that slipstream barrier, they're going to really struggle to keep up, because I've got some very good straight line speed. Okay, right now, going on to lap 5, we are comfortably holding the lead here, and this is basically a slipstream fest, as everyone is picking up a slipstream off of everybody right now. So as you can see, everyone's just going faster and faster and faster. Here comes Ocon there once again with DRS. This time I'm going to have to go defensive a little bit just to cover the inside into turn 1. He's going to try and look for my outside here, but I'm just going to hold it and leave him the room on the inside line. Ocon going for the move, but I'm just going to find some more traction on the exit of turn 2, and now into turn 3 I'm going to be able to hold on to my position here just like last time, and a nice bit of straight line speed is going to allow us to defend from the Frenchman. But like I said, right now it's very much just a slipstream race where everyone's just picking up a toe off of everyone, and everyone's basically keeping up with each other. So the second someone can break the DRS barrier, it could be pretty tasty, especially if there's no battling involved and it's just literally following cars. So we just got to keep pushing here and trying to open up a gap to Esteban Ocon behind us. Okay, Räikkönen and Ocon have started battling, and Räikkönen's actually overtaken Esteban here, so we've got a chance to break a gap and try and pull away, but I do fear Räikkönen might be a little bit too quick for us. But Perez has now overtaken both of them, so this is allowing us the opportunity to now pull away. So we've got to really try and get the hammer down and trying to get away from these guys. Look at the battle going behind. They're like 3 wide. It's all kicking off behind us here, but we are now over a second ahead of these guys, so we've got to try and extend our gap. Well, thanks to all the battling, we've really got the gap out now, and I've managed to match my personal best. Now that I've got no distractions, I've picked up the pace a little bit, and now we can really try and just keep on extending our lead and hold on to that gap, because Vettel now is in second. I feel like he had some issues with his car early on in the race, hence why he dropped down the order a bit, but I feel like now he's recovered to second place, and I think he could be the fastest man on the circuit. So I think right now the only person we could be battling very soon is Vettel, but even then we're getting to that point now where it's time for the pit stops for those on the super soft compound tyres, so I could see Vettel in the pits very soon, to be fair. So let's just keep an eye on things, but definitely I hope Vettel doesn't drag everyone else with him. That's what I don't want. Okay, I've matched my personal best. Sebastian Vettel, though, another fastest lap, 23.1, 6 tenths faster than me. But there are a few cars who have started to pit now and come off of these super soft compound tyres, and I'm hoping Vettel will be the next one in. But so far, Sebastian's only the guy that's a threat to me on that super soft tyre. He's definitely really quick. I think we can beat Raikkonen on the soft compound tyre because he's on the same strategy. But that super soft is still working quite nicely for Sebastian, so he could be a threat soon. Okay, Sebastian comes into the pit lane, and that is him in for his first stop. We set a personal best, 2.5 tenths faster, so I've managed to find a bit of time on that lap, but we're going to come in, I think, this lap for medium tyres. So if Vettel's in now, he could be going to the end of the race and maybe going for the one stop, but instead of super softs, instead of softs like me, using the super softs instead. So we need to respond. So we're going to go up to rich mix, and we need to push hard this lap and make sure we don't get undercut. Okay, it's been a very good in lap. I've pushed quite a bit, and I was on for a personal best, but now we've got to get it also down for the pit entry, make sure we don't speed, and there we go. That was a very good pit entry. Raikkonen's in behind us, as is Esteban Ocon. I don't think we're going to get held up by anyone here, because the pit stop should go pretty smoothly, and also both guys are pitting behind me, so we shouldn't get held up. Hopefully it's a nice quick stop, and we're away 2.4. I let go of the clutch pedal, absolutely beautifully timed. Literally let go at the perfect time, but now we've got to get up to speed and see exactly where we are in the pack here. So let's get up to speed. Here comes Van Dorn on super softs. We've got a car coming near us. It's Sebastian Vettel on mediums, and luckily we've avoided the undercut. That in lap was absolutely critical, and we're still, technically speaking, in a net race lead. So very good in lap there. Staying ahead of Sebastian Vettel was absolutely crucial, and we've pulled it off. So luckily we're still in the net race lead, but now we've got to try and stay ahead of Vettel and also try and pull away if possible. Now we're on the same tyre, I feel a little bit more confident about my chances of getting the job done, as we're basically no tyre difference. So like I said before, we can keep Raikkonen at bay, no problem. So I've got no major concerns that we can do the same thing with Sebastian here again today. So let's keep pushing, because also if we bring this home in first place, we're going to gain points on Vettel and Raikkonen in the championship. So that would be something pretty spectacular in my opinion, and cut the gap down from 32 points. So that would be something to see. But right now you can see there's a straight line speed difference. Vettel trying to catch me, but just doesn't have enough in a straight line, as I lock up into the Ascari chicane a little bit there by accident. But we're going to get a nice little toe, I think, off of Stoffel Van Dorn, and I think once we pass Stoffel, I'm going to try and use Rich Mix and try and release myself to get away from Sebastian. So let's try and play this tactically and play our cards right, because we might have a chance here of shaking off the German, because I think Van Dorn's probably going to come in this lap anyway, but he's going to give me some DRS hopefully as a parting gift. So let's have a look. Will he give it to me? Yes, he does. So we're going to go straight up to Rich Mix, floor it, and let's try and set some good lap times here and really stretch Sebastian Vettel. Right, fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Sebastian Vettel still right there, but I'm a little bit faster than him that last lap. Obviously, he does have DRS, so if we keep this going, we've got a chance. We just got to keep pushing hard. I've got Massa up front who I could use as some sort of decoy to try and shake off Sebastian. But right now, we're doing a good job, and we're putting the Rich Mix to good use. Okay, this time I'm going to get DRS off of Felipe Massa, my teammate. So hopefully we can pass him before the first corner, but Sebastian Vettel doesn't follow him or me through. Massa's going to stay out for one more lap, which is good news for me. So now we're going to open up the DRS and try and pass him and try and stick Massa in between myself and Sebastian Vettel. Massa's going to go to the inside, which will suit me. I'm just going to breeze past him on the outside line and try and take the natural racing line to turn one, and that's exactly where I wanted Massa to be. He's now splitting myself and Sebastian, so we've got the chance now to pull away. I've got to absolutely floor it and hope Vettel does not get past Massa before this next break zone, because if he doesn't, I'm in the money here. Okay, now I'm getting very close to Romain Grosjean here. I've got DRS on the Frenchman. He might hold me up though into the Ascari chicane, so I'm going to have to follow him for a little bit. And we have broken a second from Vettel, but I feel like he's going to gain some time here as I'm losing a bit to Grosjean. So here we go, we're going to fly past Grosjean now. Vettel, to be fair, isn't close enough, but he might get DRS off of Romain Grosjean, which isn't ideal, but we've now dipped into the negative reserves for fuel, so I can't really run Rich for much longer. I'm going to run it in Rich for one more lap and hope Grosjean holds Sebastian up, which he is going to do because he's going to stay out for one more. And once this lap's over, I'm back down to standard mix, and I'm basically praying for the best. Okay, so Vettel has passed Grosjean. He lost a little bit of time in the middle sector, but as you can see, that is the gap right now as it stands. 2.6 seconds, and also Raikkonen is right behind him. So this race now is going to be a battle of just overall mental strength, and can we survive the pressure in Ferrari's backyard and try and defend the two prancing horses and keep them behind us. Okay, Ferraris have switched. Kimi Raikkonen has overtaken Sebastian Vettel for second place, and he definitely seems to be the faster man. He just set a fast lap of the Grand Prix with a 22.1, so Raikkonen definitely the man on the move right now. So we could be coming in for another battle very soon, this time with a Finn rather than with a German. Okay, the Ferrari switch places again. This time Sebastian Vettel makes a move on Raikkonen. So obviously it looks like no team orders at Ferrari because they're losing time to me by battling away. So right now this suits me because I'm in standard mix and I'm trying to save some fuel. So this is buying me some precious time. Okay, on to lap 23 and Vettel is dragging Raikkonen along. 1.2 the gap, they're getting close. It's getting really close now. Okay, Raikkonen has just re-overtaken Sebastian Vettel for second place. So just when Sebastian was getting close and just about within a second, Raikkonen has struck and overtaken his teammate, and they're now back down to about 2 seconds behind me. Also, Kevin Magnussen has just retired from the race and we're going to come up to yellow flag zone. But the gap now 2.8 to Kimi Raikkonen. So it's brought us a little bit more time to maybe save a bit more fuel. We're almost there, minus 10 pretty much, minus 0.10. So we've almost got rich mix saved up. So we just got to keep on saving a little bit of fuel now for these remaining laps of the Grand Prix. And now Sebastian Vettel has re-overtaken Raikkonen. So these guys, they're just going out for a war. I mean, to be honest with you, I'm not really going for the championship this year because realistically, like, unless I'm in the mix for it in the very last race of the season, I don't consider myself a championship contender. So really these two are battling it out with no team orders for the lead of the championship this race. Whoever finishes ahead of these two will go into the next race in the lead of the championship. So in that regard, it's a Ferrari civil war, if you'd like, and we're basically just a spanner in the works in their own backyard. So let's just keep on going here because all this battling between them is definitely helping me out. Okay, so Raikkonen has now re-overtaken Vettel and taken second place, and now Perez has overtaken Sebastian. Now Perez is getting himself in this battle and splitting the Ferraris, but with 2 laps to go, I'm pretty much 3 seconds ahead of Kimi Raikkonen now, so I've pretty much got this wrapped up unless I make a mistake. I've got it pretty comfortable, so it's a question of can Perez spoil the party for the Ferrari fans and somehow snatch a second place right in the dying stages of the race. Okay then, here we go into the Parabolica for the final time, and it looks like we are going to pull off, in my opinion, the upset of the season. I mean, Spa was pretty much an upset, but this is even more of an upset. In Ferrari's backyard, we're going to win the Italian Grand Prix, and our second race in a row, and our second race of the season. Now, I did say in the last episode, I think that might have been my only race win. I'll take that back. Now, this might be my only race win of the season after these 2 races, because these 2 really suited my car more than any other track, similar to Baku, to be honest. But going to the next one in Singapore, we've got to take that with a pinch of salt because you never know what could happen around there. But as you can see, Pei Low joins me on the podium once again, and we're going to take the top step with Raikkonen to my right and Sergio Perez to my left. And Vettel, unfortunately, misses out on the podium, and he's been in second place for the entire race, or at least most of it. So he won't be too happy with that one, but either way, we win the Italian Grand Prix. But we're now going to look at the final race results, drivers and constructors standings after an absolutely crazy Italian Grand Prix. Right, so looking at the final race results, we win the Italian Grand Prix ahead of Kimi Raikkonen with Sergio Perez in third place, just ahead of Sebastian Vettel. Valtteri Bottas manages P5 in the lead Mercedes, and Felipe Massa splitting both of the silver arrows there. Very good job from my teammate on the one-stop strategy there, only a couple of seconds ahead of Lewis Hamilton, who's in P7. He opted for the two-stop strategy, which didn't really suit his position. However, he did start 13th, so he recovered quite nicely from where he started. Also, Ocon in P8 after starting from P4, who at one point was looking pretty good in the race and was challenging me early on in the first stint. But Verstappen also from last up to P9, and also Jolyon Palmer rounding up the points, with Ricciardo just missing out in finishing in P11 after starting in 7th place. But further down the order, you can see that retirement-wise, both of the Haas cars retired as the only retirements of the Grand Prix here today. And in terms of the driver standings, as you can see, Raikkonen retakes the lead and Vettel drops down to second place, only 1 point separating the Ferrari drivers. And somehow, I don't know how this has happened, we're only 20 points behind in round number 13 of the season, which is absolutely surreal to me. But 13 points behind with about 6 races to go, 7 races to go. Who knows? I mean, I'm not really going to consider myself a title challenger until the last race if we're still in with a shout. So yeah, until that, I'm really not looking at this season as a title opportunity. But further down the order, you can see that Felipe Massa has also overtaken Romain Grosjean there for P11, and also Perez has overtaken Lewis Hamilton. But finally, in the constructors, you can see that we all remain where we are. But we're definitely slowly gaining after that race on Mercedes. Thanks to Massa and also myself, the results as of late, we have gained a few points on Mercedes. So it might not be all said and done in constructors just yet, but we are now going to move into the laptop. Okay, so going through a bit of a run through on the laptop. First things first, we have drawn the rivalry with Esteban Ocon. I was behind going into this race, but I've managed to pull it back luckily. So we've managed to draw, so we will go once again in the rivalry versus the Frenchman. Also, we've maxed out the team expectation bar in the bottom right. But look at the resource points. We've got 1,299. Now, unfortunately, we are going to miss out on an ultimate upgrade, but I'm just going to take this graph here real quick. You see that Renault have really made some good progress as of late, and I want to try and follow them. So, obviously, we've got this major upgrade coming from Malaysia, which will be after the next race in Singapore, which is also going to be an ultimate one. So, that's going to give us a nice big push, as you can see in the bottom right there, getting almost neck and neck with Renault. And I think, to try and aid that, I can't afford an ultimate one by 50 points. And I want to get this one here. However, this one will be purchased before the end of the season. So, what I'm going to do instead is, I can buy this one here, which is a minor one, which is worth 900 points, and this will arrive for the next race in Singapore, and this will be the last of the basic upgrades and the cheap ones in the aero department. So I might as well go for this, get this on the car for Singapore, and also compensate with the sort of major front end upgrade that's going to arrive in Malaysia. And yeah, basically from then onwards, from Malaysia onwards, it's going to be a question of, putting the points away for this one here. And then basically it's a question of saving up as many points from that point onwards. We're going to save as many points as we can until the last race of the season. And then we're going to go on a massive spending spree. I think I'm going to spend quite a few on the durability and reliability, because we are going to need to really bring this up to scratch for next season if we want to compete for the championship. Also, in the chassis side, realistically, I'm not too concerned. I know we're at bottom 3, but the only one I really want to do here is the tyre one, which is this one here. I think if we can do this tyre one and also do this one here for the fuel tank positioning for weight distribution, with those two, I think we'll be pretty good for the chassis side of things. I think we could probably get away with it. Also, we've got a few minor ones we could also do here over the season next year. But I definitely want to try and get this ultimate one for the aero going into next season and have the two major ones that I mentioned before, and also maxing out this side here, and maybe even get the DRS slot gap, this one here also, if possible. But realistically, the durability is going to become a factor. Also, engine-wise, we do need to step it up. We are dropping behind a little bit. I want to try and do these two here and tie those in with the durability, with the ICE. So I've got a few things in mind, but at the moment, I'm looking to really get this upgrade here, which is for the aero. Once I've got this one, I'll be happy with where we are in the aerodynamics, and we can then move on to other things. But other than that, guys, a big thank you for watching this episode of Career Mode. If you have enjoyed it, then please do smash the like button. Let's try and smash 300 likes for this episode. Also, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Let's try and push towards maybe 15,000 subscribers in the next couple of months, and then just sort of build from there. So, yeah, other than that, guys, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in my next video very soon. Goodbye.